That's why I told you to stay here with your son. Fuck you. You put it online, didn't you, hoe? Fuck you. You ain't telling nobody no fucking orders. Get your raggedy ass out of here. Them kids been waiting to see their daddy for 2 fucking years. Them kids waited 2 years. You put it on.
The internet didn't just react to this one. It snapped. Because when Chrisean Rock's name collided with pregnancy talk and parenting claims, timelines didn't scroll, they froze. Screens got replayed. Clips got dissected. And suddenly, everyone online became a certified life coach, a parenting expert, and a moral judge with unlimited WI-fee. This wasn't soft backlash. This was nuclear. The kind that hits when public sympathy runs out and curiosity turns into criticism. 1 minute people were defending her. The next, they were asking questions nobody wanted to hear out loud. Comments weren't whispering anymore. They were shouting. About responsibility. About choices. About whether reality TV, chaos, and real-life parenting should ever share the same sentence. And once those questions hit, there was no walking them back. This wasn't just gossip. It felt like a pressure valve blowing off years of built-up concern, frustration, and internet judgment. The tone shifted fast from entertainment to intervention. And let's be honest, this made celebrity baby drama look cute. It made influencer scandals feel staged. Because when motherhood enters the chat, jokes stop landing and opinions get sharp. Stay locked in. Because once you hear what sparked this backlash, who fueled it, and why it exploded this hard, you'll understand why this story isn't cooling down anytime soon. This wasn't a moment. It was a reckoning. The backlash didn't arrive politely. It crashed in like a notification storm nobody could mute. One clip, one statement, one moment of oversharing, and suddenly Chrisean Rock wasn't trending for chaos or comedy. She was trending for something heavier. Something the internet never treats gently. Pregnancy talk changes everything online. The jokes disappear. The grace period evaporates, and every caption gets read twice with judgment baked in. When Chrisean spoke openly about motherhood and parenting, the internet didn't hear vulnerability. It heard contradiction. People weren't asking what she meant. They were asking how it lined up with what they'd already seen. Old videos resurfaced instantly. Past behavior replayed like receipts nobody asked for but everyone studied. Context didn't matter. Consistency did. The tone online flipped fast. Support turned into side-eye. Side-eye turned into scrutiny. Scrutiny turned into full-blown backlash with think pieces disguised as comment replies. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion about what motherhood should look like. And here's where the sarcasm kicks in. Because the same internet that binge-watched her chaos for entertainment suddenly wanted responsibility. Structure and calm energy on demand. As if growth comes with a scheduled update and a public apology tour. The claims weren't subtle. People accused her of romanticizing instability, of talking growth while moving reckless, of treating parenting like content instead of commitment. None of it confirmed, all of it loud. And volume online feels like truth if it repeats enough. Chrisean's history didn't help her case. Fair or not, the internet keeps score. Every public fight, every meltdown, every headline got dragged into the conversation like evidence in a trial nobody consented to. Past chaos became present context overnight. Some viewers tried to defend her. They argued growth isn't linear. That motherhood can change people in unpredictable ways. That judging from clips is lazy. But those voices were drowned out by outrage dressed as concern, because this backlash wasn't framed as hate. It was framed as worry. The most dangerous kind. When criticism wears the mask of care, it spreads faster and hits harder. People weren't saying cancel her. They were saying protect the child. The internet loves that angle. It turns moral judgment into a public service announcement. Suddenly attacking someone feels justified, even righteous. And once that switch flips, nuance packs its bags and leaves quietly. Every sentence Chrisean had ever said got reinterpreted. What once sounded like honesty now sounded reckless to critics. What once felt raw now felt irresponsible to others. Same words, new mood. Different verdict. The memes didn't hold back. Some compared the situation to reality TV plots that should have stayed scripted. Others joked that life lessons were being learned in real time with no safety net. Humor softened the cruelty, but not the impact. The comparison game went wild. People dragged in other celebrity mothers, influencer parents, and public figures like reference charts, as if motherhood comes with a universal blueprint instead of a million. Messy realities. Chrisean's personality became the focal point. Not the facts. Not the future. Her energy. Her past. Her unpredictability. The internet decided you can't separate the person from the role. Even when the role is evolving, the silence between posts made things worse. No immediate clarification. No long explanation. Just gaps. And gaps online get filled aggressively. Speculation thrives in quiet spaces, especially when emotions are already high. Some critics went further. They questioned motives, suggested clout, accused her of saying what sounds good instead of doing what looks good. Again, no proof, just perception snowballing downhill. Supporters fired back hard. They said people are projecting, that the internet punishes women for mistakes it forgives men for. That motherhood scrutiny is always harsher when cameras are involved. Those points landed, but not enough to stop the wave. The conversation stopped being about her alone. It became about celebrity parenting culture, about why we demand perfection from people we helped make famous for imperfection, about why chaos sells until a DOESN, single quotes, TIF, and then the most uncomfortable question surfaced. Why was the internet more invested now than ever before? Not when chaos was entertaining. Not when fights went viral. But when real responsibility entered the chat. That question didn't slow the backlash. It fueled it. Because once people feel morally justified, they don't pause. They double down. Every post became proof. Every smile became suspicious. Every defense became denial in someone's eyes. Chrisean's name stayed trending, but the energy shifted. Less curiosity. More condemnation. Less jokes. More lectures. The kind of attention that doesn't boost brands. It burns bridges by the end of the first wave. This wasn't about one comment or one clip. It was about trust. About whether people believed what she was saying matched where she was going. And once trust becomes the topic, the conversation doesn't cool down. It waits, because the internet wasn't finished reacting once the backlash caught traction. It didn't stay organic. It went industrial. Commentary pages cranked out posts like assembly lines. Every screenshot became a headline. Every caption turned into a verdict. The story stopped evolving naturally and started being manufactured in real time. Celebrities reacted without touching it directly. Vague tweets about motherhood. Instagram stories about accountability. Quotes about protecting children that felt carefully timed. Nobody said Chrisean's name, but nobody needed to. Subtlety screamed louder than tags. Reaction channels smelled blood instantly. Thumbnails got dramatic. Faces froze in shock. Titles promised hard truths and wake-up calls. The tone wasn't curiosity anymore. It was correction. Like the internet had appointed itself as a parenting board of directors. Memes hit another level. Not playful. Surgical. People joked that reality TV doesn't come with parental controls. Others said growth was being announced before installation finished. Humor carried teeth, and every laugh came with a judgment attached. Pop culture comparisons flooded timelines. people dragged in celebrity moms from every corner of entertainment like a lineup. Who did it right? Who survived scrutiny? Who disappeared quietly? Chrisean wasn't just being judged. She was being benchmarked. The outrage reframed itself as concern. That's when it got dangerous. Because concern sounds reasonable. It spreads faster than hate. People said they weren't attacking her, they were worried. And worry online behaves like permission. Every clip got reinterpreted. Old laughs became careless. Past jokes became red flags. Moments once ignored were suddenly proof. The internet doesn't forget, but it loves to reinterpret when the mood changes. Supporters tried to slow things down. They reminded people that motherhood isn't a performance. That growth isn't aesthetic. That judging from curated chaos is lazy. Their comments got likes. Then, buried under louder takes, critics escalated their language. They stopped questioning and started declaring. Words like irresponsible, unstable, and unfit began circulating as opinions disguised as conclusions. And once those labels enter a conversation, nuance doesn't survive. The algorithms loved it. Outrage boosted reach. Reach boosted outrage. The more extreme the take, the more visibility it got. Balanced perspectives sank quietly, while dramatic ones floated to the top like oil. Chrisean's every post became a test. A smile felt wrong to critics. Silence felt suspicious. Positivity felt performative. The internet doesn't allow neutral expressions during backlash. Everything must mean something. Public figures started choosing sides indirectly. Some doubled down on messages about grace. Others emphasized responsibility. The split reflected a larger argument about celebrity motherhood itself. Are public figures allowed to learn publicly, or only privately? The parenting discourse turned brutal. People argued about what a real mother looks like, as if there's a template, as if mistakes disqualify love. The conversation exposed more about the audience than the subject. The sarcasm sharpened again. People joked that the internet only supports growth after it's complete. That learning in public is fine until it's uncomfortable. That learning in public is fine until it's uncomfortable. The jokes landed because they weren't entirely wrong. Chrisean's past kept getting dragged forward. No reset button. No clean slate. The internet stitched together timelines to prove consistency or hypocrisy depending on the angle. History became a weapon instead of context. The backlash hit peak saturation. It wasn't louder, just everywhere. Every platform. Every comment section, every reaction video echoing the same debate with different phrasing. The story stopped being about her choices and became about control. And then something shifted. People started asking whether this level of scrutiny was actually helping anyone, or if it was just another cycle of internet judgment dressed as concern. Consuming someone for clicks. That question didn't end the outrage. It complicated it. Because once people realize they might be part of the problem, they don't stop. They argue harder. By this point, the damage was already layered. Perception had changed. Tone had hardened. And no clarification could rewind the momentum completely, because the internet had moved past reacting. It was now deciding. And once the internet starts deciding who you are, the aftermath gets personal. When the noise finally softened, the consequences stayed sharp. The backlash didn't vanish. It settled into perception, and perception is harder to fight than headlines. Chrisean wasn't just being talked about anymore. She was being watched differently. Her public image shifted quietly but decisively. Not erased. Not canceled. Reframed. People stopped seeing chaos as entertainment and started seeing it as a warning sign. Once that switch flips, every future move gets filtered through suspicion. Brand conversations reportedly cooled. Nothing dramatic, just distance. Fewer public endorsements. Less enthusiasm. Companies don't like controversy tied to parenting narratives. It's unpredictable, emotional, and impossible to spin safely. Supporters stayed loyal, but exhausted. Defending someone against constant judgment takes energy. Over time, silence replaces arguing. Not because people stop caring, but because outrage cycles drain even the loudest allies. Chrisean's relationship dynamics faced renewed scrutiny. Every interaction, every absence, every post got interpreted as evidence of something bigger. The internet doesn't need confirmation. It connects dots whether they belong together or not. The parenting conversation didn't cool down. It matured into something more uncomfortable. Discussions about privacy, pressure, and public motherhood surfaced. People started questioning whether celebrities are allowed to grow in real time without punishment. Critics claimed the backlash was necessary. They argued accountability doesn't pause for fame. That responsibility shouldn't be delayed until it looks polished. To them, discomfort was part of the lesson. Others pushed back hard. They said the internet was crossing lines. That concern turned into control. That judgment doesn't protect children, it just feeds algorithms. Both sides spoke like they were defending something sacred. Chrisean herself became quieter. Not absent, just measured. And that shift spoke volumes. When someone who lives loudly pulls back, it signals impact. Silence after backlash isn't surrender. It's recalibration. The memes slowed, but the labels stuck. That's the real damage. Jokes fade. Screenshots don't. Once a narrative attaches, it follows every new chapter, whether it fits or not. Future moments were pre-written by the audience. If she showed growth, critics said it was performative. If she slipped, they said they called it. The internet loves being right more than being fair. This scandal didn't end cleanly. There was no apology that reset everything. No speech that satisfied all sides. Just a long pause filled with interpretation and assumption. And that pause changed that relationship between Chrisean and her audience. Less playful, more conditional. Support now came with expectations, timelines, man-to-mans that didn't exist before. The most uncomfortable realization lingered quietly. People saw how fast entertainment turns into judgment when real-life responsibility enters the frame. How the same audience that cheers chaos also demands perfection. This wasn't just about pregnancy or parenting. It was about control. About who gets grace. About how quickly sympathy evaporates once the narrative stops being fun. Chrisean's story didn't end here. It pivoted. The spotlight didn't turn off. It narrowed. And narrow spotlights are unforgiving because growth in public doesn't come with privacy. Mistakes get archived. Intentions get questioned. And redemption doesn't arrive on demand. The internet moved on to new scandals. It always does. But this one stayed bookmarked, ready to resurface the next time her name trended. And that's the real aftermath. Not cancellation, not forgiveness, but permanent awareness, because once the internet decides you're a lesson, every move becomes part of the syllabus, and the class never really ends. Now, let's talk. Was this backlash about real concern, or did the internet just run out of patience and pick a new target? Did Chrisean deserve accountability, or did judgment turn into entertainment the second motherhood entered the chat? Say it loud in the comments, because this debate isn't one-sided. If this breakdown hit harder than the headlines, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like you already know the next scandal is loading. This channel doesn't wait for apologies. We break down the pressure behind them. Let's keep it real. You didn't stay this long for gossip. You stayed because watching the internet turn chaos into commandments is uncomfortable, fascinating, and revealing all at once. These stories say just as much about us as they do about the people in them. Scandals don't disappear online. They hibernate. One clip becomes a label. One moment becomes a narrative. And the second, a name trends again. All of this comes right back up. So if you want unfiltered commentary, sharp breakdowns, and the truth behind the outrage, you already know where you are. Like, comment, subscribe. Lock in because @Rap Shocker. We don't chase drama. We expose the pressure behind it, and when the next headline explodes, you won't be confused. You'll already see it coming. You'll already see it coming.